Hi, welcome to day 6 of Kick My Asana challenge. My name is Melanie Dawn. Let's go. We'll start in a child's pose. So if this isn't for you, you can come onto your back, have the knees outside the chest or rib cage. If you can do child's pose, big toes together, knees wide to the outside edges of the mat, then you'll sink your hips back. And this could be as far as some of you go, or sink them all the way back to the heels, walk the hands forward, drop the heart. You want to be really thinking about breathing into the back body, breathing into the belly, softening the head down into your mat. And locating a slow, long breath. Noticing if there is any tension in the body, any areas of discomfort, anything associated to pain we're exiting right away. And just noticing where your mind is, any thoughts that you're thinking, and the feelings, emotions that follow. And all is welcome here, whatever state you came in. Then we'll walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. Keep anchoring down into the left hip. And back through center and over to the left side of your mat. This time right hip is what stays heavy. Lots of breath into the right side body, right rib. And we'll come back through center. Let's come up into tabletop. So stack the hips over top of the knees, shoulders over top of the wrists. And I've said this so many times that tying your hair up is such a good idea. It really is. We'll flow through some cat-cows. Inhale, belly drops, heart presses through upper arms. And exhale, chin tucks towards the heart, spine rounds. In breath, belly drops, head lifts, sit bones widen, and empty out, squeezing out the breath, rounding the spine. And you can take in some side body movements, just following the inhale when the lungs are at their most receptive, belly is dropped. And then the exhale, when you're supporting the lungs to squeeze out all the breath, the spine is rounded. This is such a beautiful place to move into that practice of pratyahara that I was talking about either yesterday or the day before. Closing the eyes and really feeling into the body that you came to practice with today. No judgment, no comparison, just what is here. And then we'll come into a strong flat back. You'll send your right toes to the back of the mat, touch them down, and then press your weight into the heel. It's almost like a little bit of a bounce it'll give you. I'm just opening up the calf. And then you'll slightly pick your toes up and take them over to the left side of your mat. Drop them off the mat. That's kind of weird. Sometimes yogis are like, I don't want to go off my mat. But you're at home likely. From here, toes are touched down on the left side of your mat. You're going to drop your right hip in and look over the left shoulder. It's a big stretch through the right hip. Strong belly. Bring your right leg back, hip height. And then sweep it all the way around to the side of your mat on the right side. You'll plant your foot down so that the toes are facing forward. The outside arch of your foot connects. We're going to go into gate pose again. Arms come up nice and tall. And And exhale, side bend over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, side bend over to the left. Fingers are touched down, maybe just the fingertips or the palm. And then both hands will come back to your mat. Your foot and leg will stay exactly as they are. Left knee is going to turn out slightly so the big toes come to center. This may be max for you here. That's fine. Looking for sensation through the right inner leg. Or you might want to come back half child's pose. And sometimes people will go quite deep into this and sometimes not. And it'll be the same body. If you do have more depth in you and you want to go deeper, you'll walk your hands towards your extended leg. And we'll come back through center. Hips stack over top of knee once again. Strong belly. Sweep your leg back. Bring it up hip height. And an exhale, hug knee into heart center. Plant your knee down, extend the left toes to the back of the mat, and we'll start this sequence on the other side. Push weight through the heel, breathing for 3, 2, and then strong belly, picking your left toes up, crossing over to the right side of your mat. Left hip drops in as gaze follows left or right shoulder. Sensation we're looking for is through the left hip. We'll come back through center, strong belly. Sweep your leg out to the side. I may have to move slightly here. Toes are pointing forward. Right hip stacked under or over top of right knee. And then coming up, gate pose, arms rise. Side bend to the left first. Up through center. Strong core as the right hand reaches down to the floor, side bend to the right. Coming back up through center. And empty out, hands come down, half child's pose. This may be it. It kind of feels like it wants to be it for me, but I'm gonna test the limits, turn my right knee out, big toes in, sink my hips back, find child's pose, half child's pose. Option 2, walk hands over to your extended leg. Hands plant back at center, coming up, knee comes back underneath hip, and then you'll send your left heel back hip height, big breath in. As you exhale, hug knee to heart, squeeze. Both knees touch down, big toes come together, knees spread nice and wide apart, sink the hips back, child's pose, 3 breaths. Climbing back up, tabletop. From tabletop, sometimes this eludes me, and that's okay if it does you too. We're gonna take the right foot forward. Right foot comes forward. You may need something to pad your back knee, maybe a pillow. I'm definitely grabbing a pillow because we'll be going through a little bit of a flow here. We're working on the foundation of legs. Arms rise as belly becomes taut and you're in your low lunge. Soft shoulders, reaching fingertips, taking a breath in. As you exhale, you'll send your hips back as your front leg straightens and hands come down to frame the front foot. If you have really tight hamstrings, you do a lot of forward folding, heavy lifting, you may not be able to come all the way down, and something to support you part way would be great. Blocks are awesome. Hands can touch down at the mat. If they're able to, you might need to shift your heel forward slightly. Extra sensation is going to happen when you grind down with your heel and pull back into the hip socket. So right hip socket connects. There's a few variations to do here. If you know them and you'd like to do them, you're welcome. I'll save those for later. Another later date. Keep some tricks in my pocket. Taking 2 breaths. On your inhale, front knee bends, hands lift, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Front leg straightens, arms fall down. And breath in, rise. Exhale, half split. Breath in, low lunge. And hold, thumbs at heart center. Left elbow wrap front thigh. You'll find yourself in a twist. Back toes will tuck under, and we're gearing up for a little bit of fun here. So back toes will tuck under. You might need to walk your front foot back slightly if it feels like it's far ahead from the half split. Back toes tucked, back leg straightens. So as the leg straightens, it becomes ungrounded, steps away from the floor. And then you'll open up crescent lunge. Arms rise overhead. Continuing the twist, arms will drop out warrior 2 and the heart looks over to the right. Inhale back through center. This time without the hips moving too much, heart looks to the left, shoulders or arms drop to shoulder height. Like warrior 2 arms. Center. Empty, slow thumbs come into heart center as the knee slowly drops back down to your mat. Half split. From your half split, we'll move into a balancing posture. Taking a lift through the back knee, step forward into your fold. Whew. Halfway lift, folding, rising up. As the hands come up, body lifts, left knee comes up, thumbs come through heart center, left ankle crosses over right thigh. This might be enough balancing for you today, or you can start to sink your hips back, come into your standing split, or standing figure 4. If you have arm balance with standing figure 4, you're welcome to go into it. We're breathing here for 5. If you don't know how a person could get into an arm balance from a standing figure 4, just give us the month. Breathing for 2. If you are in your arm balance, come back, standing figure 4. And then inhale, arms reach up, knee comes up hip height. And exhale, thumbs through heart center, both feet step down. Breath in, sweep up. Empty, fold. Halfway lift. Empty, step back, plank. Hold. Always option for fist. Both knees come down, tabletop. Left foot steps forward. Coming up, low lunge. On your exhale, hips start to glide back as front leg straightens, toes lift up, heel anchors down. Hands find either the mat or some blocks. Variations are welcome, will not be cued as I catch my breath. And then bend through the knee, plant the sole of the front foot down, rise up, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Low lunge. Half split. Last time, low lunge. Emptying out, thumbs through heart center. This time, right elbow goes across front thigh. Find your twist here. Back toes tuck under. You'll press back through your right heel, lift the knee. You're now in a twisted crescent lunge. Coming up all the way crescent lunge. Woo! That twisted lunge, warrior two arms. So the arms drop out shoulder height as the heart twists to the left. Back through center. And opens to the right. Right hip does not follow backhand. Come back through center. Slow drop down until the knee touches, low lunge. Half split. Whew. Pressing your front foot down, knee bends, arms come forward until you can pop your back knee away and step forward into your fold. Halfway lift, empty fold. Rise up, mountain pose. This time as right knee comes up with the hands hip height, ankle crosses over, and hips sink back as thumbs find your heart center for your standing figure four. By the end, I'm not sure if any of you know my story. I've been out of my practice for off and on 2 months now. I was diagnosed with melanoma, had surgery, got infected, had a reaction to the antibiotics. And prior to that, I was sick for about 4 weeks. So it was a real tough end to 2022. My practice is very shaky. By the end of this, I may be able to show you an arm balance. If you are in your arm balance, start to come back to your standing figure four. Whew. And then as you breathe in, arms sweep up, knee comes up hip height. Exhale, thumbs through heart center, both feet step down. You are strong, you are grounded. Arms come alongside body, palms turn forward, heart lifts slightly, eyes closed, taking 3 big breaths. Last one. Breathing in, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Step back, high plank. Hold. We'll drop the knees down and slowly start to melt our front body down to the mat. Arms will come out like a cactus, elbows bent at shoulder height, fingers pointing to the top side of the mat. Gaze can track over right shoulder to start. As you bring your right knee out hip height and keep the ankle underneath, so the knee's in a 90-degree angle. I think I used to call this Spider-Man. That's what he looks like climbing a wall. You can try to turn your gaze over left shoulder to bring in more of a cervical spine twist. Come back through center. That means bring both legs underneath the body long. And then plant your wrists alongside your low rib cage and start to lift the heart, lift the crown. See if you can lift the toes away from your mat. Now see if you can lift your palms away from the mat. Breathing for 3, for 2. Last one, breath in. Exhale, empty out. Gaze goes over left shoulder, arms part to a cactus, and left knee comes out, hip height. 90-degree bend through the knee. Option to gaze over right shoulder. Both legs come long. Arms reach forward. Thumbs are up, palms are turned towards each other. Big toes cinch nice and tight together. Inside seams of the legs tighten up. On your inhale, arms and legs lift together. Breath is still flowing. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Holding. Empty. Arms come along side body. You'll press down into your mat and come back into your child's pose. We'll press forward and make the shift onto the back body. Once you are on your back body, take a bend through the knees, open the arms to a T, and slowly drop the knees over to the left. And you might want to have a pillow or a bolster close by so that the legs can be supported and completely let go. I just absolutely love closing my practice with the twist. It is so good for the organ body, the energy body. It just feels like stress leaves my whole body when I am in a twist. In order for me to go deeper, I'm going to shift my left hip slightly back and then stack right hip over left and bring my right knee over top of my left knee. This is doable for me. If your right shoulder starts to pop up and you can't breathe anymore, it's not doable. Come back out. Be a little bit staggered. We'll have our last 3 breaths here. Your inhale will bring the hips back through center, and you'll probably have to adjust the spine slightly. Bring it right underneath and in line, and then the knees will fall over to the right. And you may want to tuck your right hip slightly behind and stack the knees, if that works. Shoulders should stay rooted. It's a pretty good shoulder stretch as well when we go into a twist, and I think that's why I like it, is I have injured both rotator cuffs in my shoulders. They give me a lot of trouble. This is something that's doable, and it's really great for me too. It's a nice gentle expansion across the shoulders at the same time as moving into, again, that mobility. That was the word I was looking for in the last practice. Mobility of the spine. And just watching your thoughts. And I know as a yoga teacher, sometimes it can be really hard to just turn off your brain and be like, this isn't right, or that was missed, or this was forgotten. And it's like, everything is still okay. Everything is still going to be okay, no matter if we spent longer on one side, a posture was missed, everything is going to be okay. This practice is nourishing in all ways. We'll come back through center. Heels will come closer to the glutes. Take the arms along side body. Stack left ankle over right thigh. And then we'll take a grip of the back of the right thigh if that's doable. Or if just crossing the ankle over thigh was enough sensation, you stay there. Feet are flexed. We are torquing on the knee here. So a knee is a hinge joint. It goes forward and back. It's not a ball and socket. It doesn't like to go side to side. So we're going to offer it as much support as we can by flexing the feet. Option to straighten right leg. Point the toes. Flex the toes. Hug in a little tighter. And all of these are just variations onto the posture. The posture we went in at is good enough. Maybe just not enough sensation for some people, lots for others. We're going to shift the shape slightly, and I have sworn in a yoga class by saying that by accident, slightly over to the right. You can just imagine what swear word I used. Taking 3 big belly breaths. And then holding the shape. So if you have your knee still bent, we're gonna drop, keep the figure 4 shape. We're gonna drop the foot down to your mat. Extend your right leg to the very base of your mat so the leg straightens. And then just let your foot fall off of your thigh and find the inner inseam of the right leg. Knee is heavy, it's flared out to the side. Don't change anything about the right leg. Let's see if we can do it. Maybe we can't. You might have to take a bend through the right knee. Don't count it out. Start to pull your left knee outside of the rib cage and wrap your hands over the shin for half wind removing pose. If this is okay, stay here. If you need to bend the knee, plant the right foot, that's cool too. Breath is flowing into the belly and into the rib cage, and we are not stopping any of it by squeezing the thigh to lung. We're giving it lots of space, wide outside the rib cage. I'm being really nice today. I really tired myself out yesterday with those technical difficulties. So it's a softer practice. Left hand drops out shoulder height. Right hand will take that knee, left knee, cross it over your body, coming into a supine twist. This is a pretty big twist, so if you don't go far, that's fine. 2 breaths. Coming back through center, sole of the left foot plants down, right ankle crosses over left thigh. Maybe this is it. This could be the posture. Or hands wrap the back of the left thigh. I just love to close my eyes during yoga. I think it is such a beautiful time to connect to what's happening inward. Feeling into the inner sensory body. Option to straighten left leg if it's there. Point the toes, flex the foot. Shape shifting slightly to the left if you want to explore more. You shouldn't lose your breath in your yoga practice. It may get a little bit ragged, which is even we want to try to control that into something steady, but it shouldn't be held. So if that's happening for you, the posture is maybe just not there today, and it could have been there yesterday, and it may be there tomorrow, but you're potentially dancing with it not being there for a little bit if you injure yourself when you're holding your breath. So making sure to always be kind. Ahimsa is a practice of yoga of non-harm, and that means having compassion for yourself, compassion for your posture, and even in the thoughts that you think about the practice, me, yourself. All right, so we'll start to, if you have your left knee bent, you'll start to straighten it out and drop it towards the end of your mat. So this is a little bit of a core workout, sneaky little core slid in at the end, which I hate. And then the right foot will fall off the thigh and find the inseam of the left leg. There just happened to be a pillow here, which I like, because this hip doesn't ever want to externally rotate as far as my left. So it's really nice that that's there for me. I can tuck it under the knee. I like the intentional core to be at the beginning of the practice, middle of the practice, never at the end of the practice. So this one just sneaks in there just under the radar. Why, might you ask? Because I want to wind down. I don't want to heat up. That's already come and gone. That time for that is past. Half wind removing pose right side, so the knee will come up, hands grab the top of the shin, and knee starts to make its way to the outside of the body. And half wind removing pose, again, you can take a bend through the left knee if you need it, plant the foot. This is one of my favorites. It's especially good if you do have digestive troubles, if you are constipated frequently. Doing these twists is going to help you move energy through the digestive tract, which then helps you do the thing. Left hand comes on the knee, right arm comes out shoulder height, crossing knee over body, supine twist. And some people can take their knee right down to the ground. I honestly don't have a drive for that in my practice. It feels very far away. It's not something that I strive towards, but if that is something that you're working towards, you could put a little more weight onto it. But I wouldn't worry too much, especially if there's restriction, because it's happening in the chest or in the back body. And we'll come back through center, take both knees wide outside the rib cage, hands on top of the knees. This is a beautiful modified happy baby. I like the sensation of it. If your tailbone is one that likes to turn up towards the sky when you go into a happy baby, this might be your spot here, just enough for your tailbone to stay rooted. If you can stack your heels over top of your knees, reach for your inside arches without your tailbone coming up to meet your chin, then happy baby it is. One thing that happens during happy baby is you grip for inside or outside arch. A lot of times is that the neck will stiffen, shoulders become stiff. So see if you can create some fluidity in the shoulders, the jaw, the face, and breathe for 3. For 2. Your last big breath, full breath in, hold at the top. Big exhale. We'll take the knees over top of the heart, give ourselves a nice tight squeeze. Roll from side to side if it calls to you. Start to lengthen one leg out towards the end of the mat. Sneaky core again. Another leg out. Slow drop down. Arms come out. And you probably notice that your spine, the lower spine lifted quite a bit there. You want to send your tailbone down towards your heels once again. Shoulder blades into the spine. Tuck the chin. Take a breath in. And let it go. And please stay as long as you need in your Shavasana. If you have beautiful music, I hope you enjoy it. Namaste.